Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. Last time we started the trial, I managed to figure out how Tanko was killed. Not so much Angie, but I think the same thing happened because there was a pool of blood that was already dry at another location under the floorboards, so I feel that it was a case of I'm going to get this kill during a seance attempt, but I need to practice to make sure it's feasible. I need somebody to practice with, and that's what Angie was for. But I don't know the motive if this is the case. So, today we're going to continue along with the trial. But first, a word from Monokuma and the Cubs. Looks like we reached the intermission segment, which means it's time for our Guess the Victim quiz. A victim quiz, not a culprit quiz? The only victims are the people who are still watching this drawn out boring crap. Why are you being such a downer all of a sudden?
It's okay.
It is okay. I'm sure everyone is happy. How do you know? They could be skipping this entire conversation for all you know. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. I'm the real victim here. Me! Why are you getting upset? If anything, I'm the real victim. I gotta put up with all this nonsense all the time. That's the right answer, Monodum. Why? He hasn't said anything. Exactly, because there are no victims. Yep, even if you're killed in this killing game, you're a winner. Because then everyone mourns you and you get tons of posthumous popularity. Daddy! Oh, Daddy, you don't need to reveal these kind of behind-the-scenes details. Right. Dying makes you more popular, and we gotta die soon, too. Well, I mean, if the track record with these model cubs are, thing. Alright, we're resuming as I try to get comfortable.
Ooh, this is my impression of a spooky, scary ghost. Ah! I'm fine with real ghosts, but impressions of them are too scary.
Okay.
Logic does not compute.
Did you hear something? No, I didn't hear anything.
You're on the threshold of an amazing adventure.
You know what else is scary? Sweet buns. Yep, tasty, tasty sweet buns. So round, so sweet, so delicious.
Sorry, noticed something weird was going on with my computer. It's all set now.
That doesn't sound scary at all.
It really doesn't. It sounds delicious.
I'm scared too. Scared of losing my friends.
Did you hear something? No, I didn't hear anything.
And that's what happens when you try to do a hostile takeover and it fails.
Answer us, Himiko. You chose the middle room to lure us into your trap, did you not? Then you used that trap to kill Tenko, yes?
Well, Donkey Lips, did you kill that twat?
Wait, must be some mistake. No way Himiko is culprit.
Then she needs to defend herself. Otherwise, this debate is deadlocked.
I don't care if you gotta use magic to do it, but say something already.
Are you even listening?
No, I'm not listening.
What?
I don't care anymore. I'm too tired. Angie died. Tanko died. Why did I have to survive? And now, you're all saying I killed them? I just don't care anymore.
Himiko.
Do whatever. If you want to vote for me, then just go ahead.
The game gets really blah if the suspect isn't into it.
That's not the problem.
Damn it. Don't tell me you've given up.
Himiko, don't give up.
Don't you understand? My life is riding on the outcome of this trial!
Just shut up. I told you, I'm too tired. It's all just a big pain. I can't put up with it anymore.
What are you talking about? If you give up here...
You needn't worry. Himiko was the one who chose that room. Therefore, she is unmistakably the culprit.
Impossible! Himiko would never kill Tenko! Himiko not that kind of person. Gonta can tell by Himiko's face.
Himiko's a little slow, so I don't think she's capable of handling a complicated crime.
Wow, rude.
I also think Himiko's not the culprit. Somehow.
Either way, we gotta look for more possibilities.
That does seem like rather a pointless quest.
No, it's not. We gotta be strong. Gotta keep thinking. Then we might find new truth. So no give up, Himiko!
Himiko, I know how you feel. I felt the same way after Kaede died. But we can't give up. We survived. We can't give up. For the sake of everyone who died.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did you select the middle one, Himiko? Because you laid your trap there.
Was Trap only in that room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
Yeah, even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
Yeah, he's way too into this. If the culprit's plan were to make Himiko a suspect, he might have persuaded her to choose that room somehow. But how? And what would that tell us?
Performing the
No, she wasn't persuaded to choose that room. We're going to agree with
Was Trap only in that room?
you.
Other rooms may be trapped too.
Because we have a Kokichi to prove that it was set up in other rooms.
Just like Gonta said, each room was the same. They were all trapped.
I like how the typography also provided a hint there, because, you know, it was like, oh, what if it was in the center room, or you chose the middle room for a reason, and it was like, of the 3, the middle one was selected, and then it was like, well, what if there were other room, and then it was like one on the end, not the center. I see what they did there. Typography, clever.
What? Is that true?
Kokichi will tell you.
I was way too careless. Wait, what are you talking about?
I guess there was no crosspiece supporting this floorboard, so I kinda stepped through. Haha, what bad luck.
While you were in the room next to the crime scene, you found a loose floorboard, right?
Well, I didn't find it so much as I stepped through it and tripped.
What? Hold on! There was also a loose floorboard in the next room?
So the culprit prepared a trap in all 3 empty rooms, not just the middle one.
If the culprit set traps in all the rooms, then they wouldn't need to select a room themselves.
So the real trap was for someone else to pick a room and take the blame.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong, you little Sephiroth wannabe?
I see.
Asshole.
We were
Jerk.
caught in the culprit's trap
Coward.
all along.
Punk.
Especially you!
But now there's no reason to suspect Himiko, right?
Himiko, do you remember what Tenko told you?
Keep your chin up and live life facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else. Please.
Live life facing forward. She said that to you, right? If you give up on living, you'd be betraying her memory. We're all trying to keep our promises to the dead. This trial, it's not just for our lives. It's for everyone who's died as well. That's why we can't give up. This is our responsibility. We live on.
You're right. Yeah, that's right. If I gave up here, I wouldn't be able to face Angie or Tenko.
That's right. So let's do our best.
Alright, I'm not gonna say it's a pain anymore.
Oh, snap.
I won't give up. I'll fight alongside everyone and survive.
Do not say everyone. After all, the Blackened is still among us.
Jeez, there you go. Killing the mood like usual.
He's not wrong, though.
Damn, well said, Shuichi. That's what I'd expect for my soul, bro.
Your soul, bro?
I know, right?
Well, anyway, do you think the Blackened this time has some sort of superpower?
What are you talking about?
Well, as a self-proclaimed expert of stepping through floorboards, isn't it weird that no one stepped through that floorboard before the culprit used it?
Ah, that is a good point.
Oh, it's all coming together. Your time is up, Shadow the Hedgehog.
It must have been barrier magic. Well, that's one possibility, but I think it might have been something else.
Why did no one step on the floorboard until it was used for the murder? Ah, that's it. That must be the reason. Yep. Where is it? The circle that he drew.
This is it! It's because of the magic circle at the scene of the crime.
And the fact that he knew exactly where to not stand. So, like, tell him, don't step on the circle. And, like, he would have set it up, knowing where he wouldn't have to be. You clown face. Also, it's dark in here, so be sure to watch your step. If the magic circle is broken, not only will the seance fail, but it may also unleash a curse.
Before we began the seance, we were warned not to step on the circle. The floorboard in question was within the circle. That's why no one stepped on it.
So the magic circle's purpose was to keep us away from the whole trick.
That was part of the culprit's plans, too?
That's right. If that's the case, then the culprit, there's no doubt in my mind, they're the only one who killed Tenko. Only one person had the opportunity and the motive. Motive I don't quite know, but opportunity, yes. Because there was no guarantee Tenko was going to be, well, A, at the seance, and B, the spirit medium. But yeah, you're the only one.
It has to be you! Kyo, was it you?
You freaking liberal arts student.
Whatever are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tenko's murder.
Kyo?
Why do you suspect me?
Because you were the one who drew the magic circle. The circle kept us from discovering the seesaw trick. But that's not all it was for. In order to make the murder succeed, variables like Tenko's position and the placement of the cage needed to be defined. And those variables were defined by using the magic circle. In short, the circle itself was the most important tool in this murder. Knowing that, the person who drew the magic circle has to be the culprit.
Well, Kyo?
Answer already! Did you do it?
What is so funny?
I was just thinking. So this is how each Blackened must have felt. What an intriguing experience this is.
You friggin' discount Girahim.
What? An intriguing experience?
He just admitted it.
But if I am the culprit as you claim,
Oh.
then I stomped on the floorboard, yes? So, do tell. How could I have stomped on the floorboard during that darkened seance?
I see. That is problem.
Unless that is made clear, you cannot be certain I am the culprit.
How can you be so calm when you're backed into a corner like this?
I will explain that in due time. Please answer my question first.
The culprit stepped on that exact floorboard even in the darkness. But how? How do they move around in total darkness? In a room that dark, it's hard to imagine the culprit found the right board. Although, even after I put out the candle, I could move along the wall with my hand. Wait a minute. Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, he said that.
Out?
That's it. The culprit didn't even have to see it all. They used... hearing. No. So then, touch? They're able to feel around for the loose floorboard?
That's it!
Because it wasn't going to be smell, and it's not Sixth Sense.
The culprit used touch. They didn't see, they felt.
That way they could get around in the dark, like how I got to the candle.
Wasn't seesaw in middle of room? Gonta doesn't think it was near wall.
So they probably used something besides the wall to move then, right?
Were there any other markers within reach?
Unless they were actually counting the floorboards?
Of course, the answer to that is there was nothing of the sort.
No, I'm sure there was something. A landmark they could have used to determine where the floorboard was. Must have been at the scene. I know it. Marker? Use what as a marker to position themselves in the dark? Magic circle? Was that a C? Oh, crap. Yeah, I'm not too big a fan of this Hangman's Gambit. This is just a lesser version of the very first one. Like, even though the second Hangman's Gambit was really hard, I kind of prefer that to this. I need an E. There we go. Yeah, this is just a more casual version of the very first one, and that's kind of,
That's it. The magic circle. They used the magic circle.
Well, I mean, it kind of combines the two. But it's still super easy.
Remember? The magic circle was drawn with salt.
It doesn't even feel like a challenging minigame, it's just a time waster.
The culprit used the salt's texture to feel their way through the dark.
I see. So Kyo traced the magic circle with his hands to get to the loose floorboard.
Oh, I see. You drew the magic circle with salt to use it as a guide.
An interesting thought. It is unfortunate that it is so wrong.
What?
Recall the document. What did the magic circle look like?
Based on the document, the magic circle wouldn't reach the corners of the room.
So what?
When the room was darkened, each of us was in a corner of the room, yes? The magic circle didn't reach us, so I could not have followed it, yes?
But you're talking about the magic circle in the document. That doesn't mean the circle you drew was the same.
No, I most definitely drew it exactly the same. I have it perfectly memorized.
So which is it? Is there any way to check? Not anymore. The magic circle is a complete mess from being trampled on.
No, that's by design. So you wouldn't be able to see the parts where he messed up by either like trying to like use it as a guide or from it being dislodged by the plank when he stomped on it. Let's see, another piece of the puzzle. Drawing the circle with salt all but guaranteed it would be temporary. The investigation itself would have gotten rid of the evidence. Clever.
Everyone, may I have your attention, please?
What a pain. We don't have any way to check it now.
Excuse me, everyone. May I have your attention, please?
'Cause he was in the room. He was in the room. And then when Shuichi came, they were like, oh, okay, you can leave then, Kibo. He took a picture of it.
Well, I guess there's no point in discussing the magic circle anymore.
Hey, may I have your attention?
Oh, I said cut that out! It's too bright!
I apologize. I just wanted everyone to listen to me.
About what?
I had Miu add another function to my body, in addition to the flashlight.
What the? No way! Did you really? Stop! You can't! I didn't install it for that purpose!
What?
Please, let me use it. With it, I might be able to save everyone.
For what purpose did you install it, Miyu?
Alright, so what is this function?
It's an image recording function.
Image recording?
Just call it a camera.
Specifically, this function allows me to dispense a printout of my own memory.
Okay, well, that's not quite a camera.
I'll give it a try. Ready?
From your mouth?
I also used magic like that before.
This printout is my memory of being kicked out of the seance. Please confirm that the floor of the empty room is clearly visible. Go on, take the picture and see for yourself.
Okay, got it.
I reluctantly took the paper from Kibo's mouth. Why? It's not covered in saliva or anything. So this is the magic circle used for the seance. There are lines going from each corner to the circle.
Well, Shuichi, Do you notice anything?
Notice anything?
There!
Easy.
This helped a lot, Kibo. Without you, I never would have seen through Kyo's lie.
My lie.
You just said that you drew the magic circle exactly as it appears in the document. But that's a lie, isn't it? The magic circle at the scene had lines that stretched to the room's corners. Which means that you would be able to find the floorboard from anywhere in the room.
So it was different from the document after all.
All because Himiko noticed. And because of Kibo, too.
Hey, where's my things? I'm the one who installed that function into Kibo.
Hey, yeah, what was it you were saying about its purpose?
I know, right?
Oh, to be honest, the purpose of that image recording function is to monitor my health.
What?
Specifically, I make Kibo use that function every day to analyze my turds.
I need bleach to wipe this from my memory.
You're what? Why? Shit is a great indicator of intestinal health and gut bacteria quality. Plus, taking a satisfying shit does wonders for a woman's natural beauty.
I need a lot of bleach. A lot.
See? You're all grossed out. This is why I didn't want to tell you about my plan.
Quit talking about your poop. No one cares.
Thank you, Himiko.
Kyo, you killed Tenko, didn't you? Just give up and admit it already.
So, Kyo, if you have any objections, you can...
Your deductions are fiction. Well, since you've given me the option, I will most certainly object. To be honest, it's unimportant, but it may be an amusing diversion.
Unimportant?
Now I shall bear witness to your abilities, Shuichi. Do entertain me.
Oh, shut up, you want to be JoJo. Up here dressing up like a proud boy.
Then what of the murder weapon? It was set up in the cage. The only people capable of that are Kokichi and Shuichi, who carried the cage. So suspicion should fall on them.
Kyo's attitude is disconcerting, but first I need to counter his argument.
If you are going to claim I am the culprit, then what of the murder weapon? It was set up in the cage. The only people capable of that are Kokichi and Shuichi, who carried the cage. So suspicion should fall on them.
There we go. We advancing.
True, we could have placed the sickle there, but we could not have removed it later. Because we weren't the ones who lifted the cage. That was Himiko.
The only person who could have collected the sickle is Himiko. But the only people who could have placed the sickle are Kokichi and Shuichi. But in regards to that dilemma, I did not carry the cage, nor did I lift it. I had no opportunity to touch the sickle. So simply put, I am not the killer.
I'm sure that Kyo is the culprit. He had a way of getting that murder weapon. I can prove it.
The only person who could have collected the sickle is Himiko. But the only people who could have...
And it's the white sheet because he was the one that picked it up.
Dilemma, I did not carry the cage, nor did I lift it. I had no opportunity to touch the sickle.
Okay.
So simply put, I am not the killer.
Is there really a point in me, like, cutting these? Well, I think they do give me time.
But the only people who could have placed the sickle are Kokichi
and it does allow me to get to the next statement as fast as possible.
I did not carry the cage, nor did I lift it. I had no opportunity to touch the sickle.
There we go.
I'll cut through your words.
Well, we didn't do that breaking the teams thing, but that
The only
might be
person who
coming
could
up.
have set up the sickle and retrieved it afterward is Kyo. That was done by covering the cage with a white cloth. You could have secretly placed the sickle when you draped the cloth. And retrieved it afterward when you removed the cloth. Then, while everyone was distracted, you discreetly dropped the sickle under the floor.
Wonderful! That's exactly correct.
Huh? What?
It's correct. Then why don't you give up already?
The trick I put so much work into is just wasted effort now. Alas.
So, it was you? You killed Tenko?
Let me guess. You'll never forgive me. Himiko, you must hate me so very much.
I mean, I do, yes.
Maybe you'd feel better if I was executed by Monokuma.
I really would.
But unfortunately for you, that won't happen. Because if you vote for me, every spotless, including myself, will die.
What you talking about, Kyo?
You still don't understand? I killed Tenko, that is the truth. But it is meaningless in this class trial.
Meaningless?
You mean Monokuma's extra rule, right?
That's right. What happens to your votes if there are two blackened candidates? Well, I have an answer for that. It's first come, first served.
You see, I killed Tenko, but not Angie.
Like hell you did. I know you did both, because you had to practice to make sure this could even work in the first place.
For us, Tenko's death is nothing but a trivial issue. Because the blackened in this trial is the culprit who killed Angie.
Trivial issue? No, that's gotta be a lie. You probably killed Angie too.
That is simply not possible. Recall that I was unable to enter Angie's lab.
Oh, only student council members and Kokichi could enter research lab.
How could I have possibly killed Angie when I couldn't even enter her lab?
We can figure that out. No one else could have done it besides you. If you're the one who killed Tenko, you gotta be the one who killed Angie.
I understand how you feel, Himiko, but maybe we can discuss this rationally and calmly. There is a non-zero possibility that Kyo is telling the truth.
So you understand how she feels. I see. Wait, robots can understand human feelings?
Of course I understand. I worked really hard to understand.
Hey, why are you getting all worked up, Kibo? Chill, dude.
That's enough! It's voting time! I'm gonna vote for him!
Voting for me will only help the one who murdered Angie.
Isn't Kyo culprit?
Of course I'm not. This case was an error on my part.
What?
Monokuma added that rule after both bodies were found, yes? How was I to know that the trial would only be for Angie's killer? Had I known, I certainly wouldn't have killed Tenko.
You're lying! You killed Tenko and Angie!
Now hold on. Jumping to conclusions here is dangerous.
We should talk it out more. This case might have juicy plot twists waiting to happen.
Nuts to that! Any way you look at this case, Kyo is obviously the culprit. Yeah, there's sort of no other way to look at it.
No, it's too dangerous to vote before we arrive at a logical decision.
The culprits
Oh
wanna
God.
be you.
Well,
Wowee! This argument is getting intense. At times like this,
I did mention we hadn't had one of these yet.
the Ultimate Academy is proud to present its very own more phenomenal trial grounds.
Yippee! I've been waiting for this!
Why were you waiting for it?
Kyo confessed to killing Tanko, but insists he didn't kill Angie. We won't forgive Kyo for what he did, but we can't vote until we know the facts. I have to pin down the evidence and convince everyone. So this can't be a red herring death. I still think he used Angie as practice. But how would he have got in? Only thing I can think of is he somehow was able to use Kibo's voice thing, but that... I don't know.
Kyo killed Tanko and Angie! He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
The katana was found in Kyo's lab.
So Kyo did kill Tanko, but he not blackened?
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
We solved the mystery of Tanko's death. Can't we just vote now?
Oh wow, they actually found a way to make this a little difficult, reusing some terms per thing. Kyo's confession was shocking, but we can't be certain he's the blackened. Need to match up our ideas and persuade them all at once.
Kyo killed Tanko and Angie! He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
The katana was found in Kyo's lab.
So Kyo did kill Tanko, but he not blackened?
Yeah, blackened was used twice.
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
Kyo! Not possible. That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the mystery of Tanko's death.
I got this! Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
Kyo killed Tanko and Angie!
When we aren't consistent, our position looks weak. We have to work together. If we vote now, we'll never know the truth. We have to defend that point.
Kyo killed Tanko and
Oh, it doesn't take care of them permanently?
He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
The katana was found in Kyo's lab.
So Kyo did kill Tanko, but he not blackened?
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
Okay, we have that.
We solved the mystery of Tanko's death. Can't we just vote now?
Oh, this is actually tough.
Tanko and Angie!
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
He forced
Shoot.
his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
Kyo! Anyone could have entered my lab.
Oh no, that's not the right one.
The katana was found in Kyo's lab.
Kyo! Anyone could have entered my lab.
So Kyo did kill Tanko, but he not blackened?
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
We solved the mystery of Tanko's death. Can't we just vote now?
Himiko was the only one that brought up Angie.
Kyo killed Tanko. Kyo killed Tanko and Angie.
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
No, I thought...
His way into Angie's research lab. Killed her.
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
Oh my god, this one is actually kicking my butt.
So Kyo did kill Tanko, but he not blackened?
Kibo! We don't know for certain that Kyo killed Angie.
Okay, alright. Alright. Kibo's on the first one. Got it. Okay.
Kyo killed Tanko and Angie.
Kibo! We don't know for certain that Kyo killed Angie.
He forced his way into Angie's research lab and
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
The katana was found in
Kyo! Anyone could have entered my lab.
So Kyo did kill Tanko, but he...
Kokichi! Perhaps there's a second blackened we need to find.
He was planning to use the new rule to protect...
Kyo!
Not possible. That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the mystery.
I got this! Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
Okay, this one, I was skeptical of this being difficult. Oh crap, I was not paying attention. I forgot that there's a thing that happens after. What? What? That? Wait, what?
Is this?
I had health left. Oh my god, I gotta start all that over. Okay, so I screwed up because I stopped looking at the screen. But yeah, like I was in the middle of saying like, oh yeah, when this game first happened, I was like, oh, this can't be hard, and then hey, they brought the pain for this one. Oh my god, okay.
Kibo, we don't know for certain.
I'm actually mad at myself for screwing up on this.
Research lab and killed her.
Kyo! Anyone
Oh,
could have.
frick! Now I gotta go through this whole process
Katana
again.
was found in Kyo.
Anyone
Just cutting ahead till the end point.
I got this! Not yet.
There's still another mystery to solve.
He's done it. Oh, it was 4v however many were on the other side.
It would be a mistake to vote before we've completely solved Angie's murder. And there's still the mystery of Tenko's murder.
Mystery? What kind of mystery?
Well, Kyo's confession derailed our conversation a bit. But we still have to go over one of the clues found at Tenko's crime scene. I believe it might even have something to do with Angie's murder.
Yes, the outline piece of evidence at Tenko's murder scene. Because I brought this up. Where is it? Yeah, because there's even dry blood on the... Yeah, because he had to practice. He had to practice.
This is it! The bloodstain found under the floor. Maki and I found it during the investigation.
Only thing I can think of is he waited for Angie to go to the bathroom or something and then, like, grabbed her.
It was beneath the floorboard that the culprit stomped on.
Is that Tenko's blood?
That bloodstain was too far from Tenko's corpse to have been hers.
Also, the bloodstain was already dry when we found it, but the blood from Tenko's body hadn't even begun to dry yet.
Well, that's weird. Why was that bloodstain the only dry one?
The blood stain under the floorboard was dry because it happened before the seance.
That's it.
B would have been a good choice too, but
wasn't from
this was
Tenko's
more
murder.
specific, maybe?
It was there before we started the seance.
Before the seance?
That should make it clear whose blood it was. The blood stain from before the seance, it has to be them.
That's it. That bloodstain wasn't Tenko's. It was Angie's.
Why was blood from Angie at the scene of Tenko's murder?
Yeah, wasn't Angie killed in her research lab?
Just because we found her body there doesn't mean she was killed there.
Ah, I guess that's possible.
I mean, that was kind of the basis for the second trial too.
If Angie wasn't killed in her lab, then that opens up a lot more possibilities. We assumed that only council members could have killed Angie since her body was in her lab. But if she died somewhere else, then we can't suspect just the council members anymore.
So the culprit didn't enter her lab, but waited for her to come out of it?
I'm not sure if the culprit waited for her, but they probably killed her when she came out. Well, I thought that was more likely from the start. So I went to places Angie might have gone and checked all 3 empty rooms.
Places she might have gone? Why did you check the empty rooms then?
Right.
The empty rooms were the only places I could think of that Angie would go.
Did Angie have business in rooms?
It seems Kokichi's up to his usual misleading nonsense again.
I do lie a lot, and I could be lying right now too. But I'm pretty sure someone's panicking right now because of my lie.
Angie left her lab on her own and headed to the room where she was killed. Is Kokichi's statement true, or...
The art research lab is not where Angie was killed. She was killed in the empty room instead.
She left her lab on her own?
But why would she go into an empty room? There shouldn't have been anything in there.
Except for candles.
She wanted a candle! To keep herself awake at night. She would drip hot wax on her body.
What?
That sounds like something only you would do, Mew.
What did Kokichi see? Something Angie did. There has to be a clue there.
The art research lab is not where Angie was killed. She was killed in the empty room instead.
She left her lab on her own?
I mean, yeah, she wants them for the wax effigies, but the fact that they're hanging upside down, but I guess that's just there to mislead me. But yeah, she would want the candles for her wax
would she go into an empty room?
things.
There shouldn't have been anything in there.
Except for candles.
That's it! She wanted a
I'm going to agree with that, but not for the reason she stated. It's not even a hobby, it's a kink, but okay. Angie trying to do right before her death. Oh.
Damn it.
Oh, yeah, she wouldn't need the candle
Not where Angie was killed.
for
She was killed
the
in the empty
wax
room
things that
instead.
they're already made. She would need the candle because fire
Why would she
to
go into an
burn
empty
the
room?
Necronomicon.
There shouldn't have been anything in there.
Except
I
for
was a
candles.
little stupid on that one. I apologize.
candle!
I agree.
That's it. Angie went to that room to get a candle.
Yeah, for kinky wax play.
Oh my god.
No. Angie was going to use it for the ritual. According to the Necronomicon, to resurrect the dead.
After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Then, did she seek out a candle so she could burn the book?
That's right. There's nothing to start a fire with in Angie's lab. So she went to go get a candle from one of the empty rooms.
And that's when the culprit attacked her.
That's why there was dried blood under floor.
Which Which means Angie was attacked in the same room the seance was held. Bravo, Himiko. Well done for choosing that room for the seance. If we hadn't done the seance in that room, then Tenko's murder would have been in another room. If that happened, no one would have discovered Angie's bloodstain under the floorboards.
That's right. Shuichi and I only checked under the floorboards where Tenko died.
See, and I was saying, oh yeah, y'all should go into the next ones over and look, but now you're like, nah, no need for that. Yeah.
Yep, it's all thanks to Himiko for choosing the same room as Angie. This must be a Tua's will. Or maybe the power of magic.
It's neither. I just picked one.
Hold on. You're all acting as though you've proven that as fact already. You claim Angie was murdered in the empty room, and then moved to the lab? Then how do you explain the large amount of blood in the lab? It may be possible to carry a body, but blood cannot be moved.
I think she was still alive after the attack in the empty room. She was killed after she was carried to her lab.
That means the culprit attacked her twice. I have evidence of that. Yeah, the wounds. Plus the fact that these wounds had sort of healed up.
This is it! The fatal wound was a cut to the back of her neck from the katana. But she also showed signs of blunt force trauma, and I think I know why. After Angie was knocked unconscious in the empty room, she was killed in her lab.
I see. So that puddle of blood is from the killing blow. Ha! It's all clear now. Angie was attacked in the empty room, carried to her lab, and it was there that the culprit finished her off.
All clear. This is all clear. What are you all talking about? All clear? What is all clear? What are you? All clear?
Is he about to snap?
What are you all? You what? What are? I will not fear. I will not back down.
What?
Sweet Korekio, calm yourself.
What?
Their words are all hollow. There is no meaning to any of them.
I guess I had the right theory from before, but the wrong character, where I said... Wait, did I reveal that in this LP? Where I said when I played the demo, I thought that Shuichi was actually a girl until he spoke more during the trial. But on first impression, I thought that was going to be a Chihiro situation. I'm frightened right now. What? Yeah, that's what I said. I said what?
You must teach these ignorant children a lesson.
Oh my god, what?
Yes, you're right. Okay, I'll teach them.
What is happening? Oh my god, it's always the third trial too. It's always the third trial where the blackened is like it just gets OD. Cause Celeste, like, she finally broke from her little like prima proper thing and was like going all crazy. Mikan went from being all meek and timid to like, oh, is that all you can say? Oh. Like, and now we have this. I'm floored right now.
What the hell are you
mumbling about? You're giving me the goddamn willies!
Not yet. Nothing is clear at all.
It's full of doubts, of mysteries, of a dense, impenetrable fog!
What?
Nothing is clear at all!
Okay, rebuttal showdown. I'm scared.
Angie was attacked in the empty room first. And then carried into the research lab? Impossible! Impossible! That's nothing but a delusion! You would tend to poison our minds with your delusions?
So you're
It's no delusion.
you have multiple
Angie's
personalities?
2 external wounds tell the story. After she was struck in the empty room, she was carried to the art research lab and then killed.
You say the culprit carried Angie's body? And not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains.
Oh, it wasn't the duct tape. Good point. Good point.
I was wrong.
That was a spur of the
You say
moment.
the culprit carried Angie's body? And not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains. Even if you wipe them down later, there'd still be traces of evidence left behind.
Ah,
But
crap.
there was no evidence anywhere, was there, Shuichi?
There we go. Right idea, just on the wrong thing.
There was evidence left at the scene. The bloody tape under Angie's body.
What?
It was wrapped around her head to stop the bleeding while she was being carried.
Bloody tape? Gonta didn't notice at all.
It was under the body. It's most likely evidence the culprit should have gotten rid of. But since it was hidden, the culprit didn't notice and failed to dispose of it.
It must have fallen as the fatal blow was dealt, and ended up under her body.
Must have been Atua who did that for us.
What? Atua? How long are you going to keep that up?
Now we know most of the mystery behind Andy's murder.
I'm convinced there's only one person who could have killed Angie.
Yeah, yeah.
It has to be you.
And then he could have been, like, had his doors
It's you,
open
Kyo. You killed Angie.
and saw her walk by.
What the fuck? So it's true!
Well, that was obvious. Such a boring, obvious answer.
Killed both of them. Why did you kill them?
In terms of pure logic, only one victim was necessary to win.
Why? Why you killed them both?
Yeah, because that's another thing. Like, I thought maybe that it was done as practice for Tenko, but that wouldn't explain, like, why he would go forth and have a second victim. The motive wouldn't make sense. That's what I was alluding to before.
I think one of the murders was an accident.
Oh, so he didn't intend to kill Angie?
An accident?
That's right. It wasn't part of the plan.
Huh? Which one?
The murder that was an accident. It had to have been Angie.
That's it. Angie's murder was an accident.
What? Tenko wasn't accident?
That's right. Kyo originally planned to kill someone with a seesaw trick.
Because that required way more to set up. So what, he didn't think that Angie would bleed out?
But while he was making preparations in the empty room, Angie walked in. So he decided to kill her in order to keep her from talking.
She just happened to walk in on the culprit setting up and was killed.
But then in that case, why go through with the second murder? If you would have just left it at that with the locked room thing, there would have been no way to tie it back.
Then he should have just stopped there.
Right.
Once he killed Angie, there was no reason for him to kill Tinko.
You only needed to kill one for this game. Killing two is pointless. If you get bonus points for killing more, then sure. Otherwise, it leaves more clues behind.
Right. This was sloppy.
Why, Kyo? Why you kill two of our friends?
What is it? What on earth are you talking about? No, I'm not the culprit. So, why is everyone looking at me like I am? Why? Why are they? Why is it? Calm yourself, Korekio.
What is this?
Yes. You mustn't raise your voice. You mustn't stutter. You mustn't lose composure. You mustn't become flustered. You mustn't waver. Look at their horrid faces. This sorry lot is not worth agonizing over. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
There he goes again. What the hell's wrong with him?
I know.
It almost seems like he's talking with someone.
Someone? He's just talking to himself. And why the hell is he wearing lipstick?
No matter how loudly you protest, this is a trivial matter. I will never acknowledge your allegations. Not a single one of them. For you see, there is no evidence that I killed Angie. No, I will not acknowledge it. I will only acknowledge facts, true events. I won't acknowledge fiction, mystery. I won't acknowledge your deductions or guesses. Well said. Good job, Korekio.
Oh my god.
Yes, thanks.
Creeps me the fuck out!
No evidence. There's no evidence that he killed Angie?
You're wrong. There is evidence.
Can you enlighten me on this?
What? You do realize bluffs like that won't work, yes?
The weapon that was used to knock Angie unconscious in the empty room. That weapon tells us the whole story, Kyo.
Oh my god, it was a floorboard.
That's not possible. I think you may have misunderstood. Apologize. Come on, apologize. 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 Come on. Apologize. 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 Apologize.
This is so bizarre.
Seriously, what the hell's happening?
I have no idea what's happening with Kyo. But I know what weapon he used on Angie. I have to prove it to him. See? Sephiroth on Genova, not even
I
once.
have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong. Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm not the culprit. So I have nothing to confess. I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong. Yes, I'm not the culprit. So I have nothing to confess. Why must you force your delusions on us? Your logic.
Oh, come
It's
on.
merely a delusion. Well said, Korekio. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you force your delusions on us? Your logic.
Thought that was a
That's
circle.
merely a delusion. Well said, Korekio. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you... I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me. Correcchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 Apologize.
Oh my God.
I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me. Correcchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me. Correcchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot.
Oh, they are making this so hard.
Apologize. 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 I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you... You have no proof that Correcchio is the killer.
It ends here.
That was getting a little oh my God.
Kyo hit Angie with the same floorboard used in the seesaw trick.
I see. And how do you know the floorboard was the murder weapon?
There was a small patch of dry blood on the underside of the floorboard.
Called it.
Angie's blood? Blood that spattered there when the culprit struck Angie with the board. But that's not the only evidence that she was hit with that floorboard. There's also the blood stain under the floor to consider. For that to be there, the floorboard must not have been in place at the time of the attack.
Good point. Had the floorboard been in place, her blood wouldn't have splattered beneath it.
Kyo's earlier confession is further evidence that the floorboard was used.
How?
If the weapon used to hit Angie is the floorboard from the seesaw trick,
It means the culprit knew about the seesaw, so the same person killed Tenko and Angie.
Boy, the VA must have tapped into something crazy to get that screen.
I believe that while Kyo was setting up the seesaw, he was holding the board.
So he went Hacksaw Jim Duggan on her. Ain't that a shame?
When Angie walked in.
And he cold-cocked her with the floorboard.
You killed what was a perfectly good antagonist for this game's plot. And best girl. I mean, Angie was also best girl, but still.
all you can do now is accept it. You even confessed to Tenko's murder already.
That's true. This is the truth.
Looks like we're almost at the end. All right, Shuichi, I'll leave the finale to you. Bring down the house.
Ichi, please, put an end to this. For Angie and Tenko's sake. End this class trial.
I'll see what I can do.
I understand. I'll go over everything one more time. Kyo, I want you to confess. No, I will force you to confess.
So I guess this means I'm going to have to bump up Maki and Miyu to best girl status to fill the free slots. So we can still keep a little trio going. Alright, so. Who was the culprit with the saw in the empty room? Okay, well, wait. First off, we need to start over. We're like right here. I'm going to pull up the floorboards, and then I'm going to saw this. And I'm going to walk to get a candle. Who's the culprit with the... Wait, who's the culprit with the saw in the empty room? Nothing I can even select. So we'll go to the next page for now. And so then I'm going to open the door and, oh, wait, it's you. What are you doing here? Do you want to hear about our Lord and Savior Atua? Why are you picking up that board? And then, what weapon knocked Angie unconscious? The removed floorboard. Did I unlock anything new? No. Okay. So then, she's knocked out, blood dripping. What was compressing the injury on Angie's head while she was carried? Sorry, we're out of that at this moment. Please call back later. So I'm carrying her. Fireman's carry. Equal distribution of weight. We're in here. I'm untaping that. Okay. Yep. I don't know what's happening in these pictures because she just fell over. Oh. Oh, no. He was preparing. That's right, because she was still knocked out. All right, so I have a sword. Oh, wait. Let me, do this. Like, lock the door preemptively so that it will stay locked when I close it. What weapon killed Angie? Yeah, this. You didn't have to bring the whole thing with you. You could have just left the sheath there, but alright, whatever. So yeah. Samurai gun. Haha. And then I'm going to take these effigies and hang them up. You're not going to get Kaede to come back, no siree. Whose effigy was stabbed with the katana? We don't know just yet. So then I'm going to do that and then spin you right round, baby, right round. All right, that's all set up. You're spinning, and then handle of the spinning katana hit the sliding lock and left you there in a locked room murder mystery. All right, so then the next day when Angie's body was found, who unlocked the door? We'll come back to that. So we open the door. A body has been discovered. And so then we're doing this. We're talking like, I know, let's conduct a seance to speak to her from beyond the grave. And so here we are in here. And then I'm smirking because you're about to die. I miss her. So then what object did Tanko rest her forehead on during the seance? The small stone that Himiko brought. And so then assume the position. And then we're setting up. What weapon did the culprit set up on the iron cage? Not that. Not that. That. So yeah, you set up the sickle. And then you set that up. The dog is there. And then, who besides Kokichi was responsible for extinguishing the candles? Well, Shuichi. But it doesn't matter right now. So then we do that, and then we're singing about the child and whatnot, and then I'm walking, and oh, hey, I found where I need to be. How was the culprit able to move around in the darkness during the seance? The path made with salt. I don't know why I whispered that. Okay, and so when the culprit approached the cage, hold that thought. So then you stomped on it, you killed her. I hate you. I hope your execution is painful. And so then we relight the candles, and there she is. And there you're hiding it. How did the magic circle get erased? Well, everybody trampling in and seeing that a body has been discovered. All right, so we got all the things in effect. So let's go ahead and add that right there. And then we're going to go ahead and, wow, open up all the other ones, really? Anticlimactic much? Okay, so, right here, who was the culprit with the saw in the empty room? Is that proper grammar? Okay. Yes, the culprit was with the cut cross piece under the floor. That cut is the first name, cross piece is the last name. Because that's who they were with, yes. Whose effigy was stabbed with the katana? Yeah, Kaede. Hasn't she been through enough? And then, when Andy's body was found, who unlocked the door? This jerk face McFace jerk. And then, when who besides Kokichi was responsible for extinguishing the candles? This lame face McLame jerk. And then, when the culprit approached the cage, he stomped like this was that song from the 90s. Name I can't remember. The name might actually have just been Stomp. And then, how did Magic Circle get erased? The footsteps contaminating the scene.
This is the truth of the case.
Even still, you could have just stopped with Angie and none of this would have happened. I don't even think we would have been able to solve it. Unless they decide, like, maybe we should just examine every room, but then, I don't know.
It was late last night. The culprit was in the empty room on the 4th floor. The culprit was preparing the seance murder they had planned. To use the floorboard as a seesaw, they had to cut the crosspiece supporting it.
Because even if Angie saw what he was doing and he didn't sneak up to do it, he still could have just killed her, put the floorboards back in place, and call it a day. Like, none of this would have happened. At all.
The plan was to make the same preparations for all 3 empty rooms. This would divert suspicion away from the culprit and whoever picked a room. To cut the cross pieces, they needed a saw. I imagine they got one from the warehouse. They were planning to cut the cross pieces in all 3 rooms. However, when the culprit was working on the middle room, the unexpected happened. Angie walked into that room and saw the culprit making their preparations. She needed some fire for the ritual and had gone to the room for a candle. At that point, the culprit had not finished the setup and was just cutting cross pieces. Angie might not have concluded that it was tied to some kind of murder plan. But now that Angie had seen it, the culprit couldn't use the seesaw trick. Any other person might have just given up, but not our culprit. The culprit took the floorboard they loosened and struck the unsuspecting Angie in the head. The culprit did not want to give up on their plan and had to improvise. They wrapped duct tape around Angie's injury to stop the bleeding. Then they picked up her unconscious body and carried her to a research lab. While she was unconscious, the culprit hurried to tie up this loose end. But because they were in a hurry, they made a crucial oversight. They didn't notice the duct tape had peeled off and was under Angie's body. Without that evidence, we may never have figured out the culprit's trick. Carrying the supplies they needed, the culprit returned to the ultimate art lab. Locked the front door from inside. And took out the katana they brought from their own lab. They then stabbed Angie in the back of the neck, finally killing her. Then, to further confuse us, the culprit attempted to make a locked room mystery. First, they used rope from the warehouse and hung 4 effigies upside down. There were 2 reasons for this. To overwhelm the room with an occult atmosphere. And the other was the key to locking the room. The culprit stuck the katana into Kaede's effigy near the rear entrance. And spun the effigy around to twist up the rope. After enough turns, the culprit let go and headed for the rear door. Once released, the effigy began spinning, and the gold leaf katana with it. The handle of the katana then hit the sliding lock, locking the door. A difficult trick, but remember that the lock was so loose it moved at the slightest touch. The culprit also would have had the opportunity to attempt it many times. Once complete, the door was locked, but the duct tape was left behind. Perhaps the culprit noticed it, but by that point, it was too late. The room was sealed. There was no way for them to get back inside. Then, this morning, we opened up the room and discovered Angie's body. But the culprit wasn't finished. They wanted one more murder. To do that, they manipulated us into performing this seance. Of the 3 empty rooms, the middle one was chosen for the seance. I was invited by Kokichi to take Kibo's place in the seance. Tenko volunteered to be the medium, but she never imagined it would get her killed. To perform the seance, the culprit claimed they needed something for Tenko. A small stone that Himiko had brought from the courtyard. Tenko, at the culprit's request, bowed her head until it was touching the stone. That position was instrumental in making sure the murder went as planned. Next, Kokichi and I placed the iron cage over Tenko in the middle of the magic circle. The culprit then volunteered to drape the white cloth over the iron cage. We didn't realize it at the time, but that was a deliberate decision by the culprit. They needed to set up the murder weapon that was used to kill Tenko. While they were covering the cage with a cloth, they secretly placed the sickle. Finally, 4 of us placed the wooden statue on top of the cage. The culprit used the weight of the statue to keep the murder weapon in place. After the preparations were complete, we began the seance. In complete darkness, we each stood in one corner and sang the caged child song. When the song finished, the soul of the dead was supposed to enter the medium. But our culprit had another plan, to commit a murder in the darkness. Right after we started singing, the culprit began making their way toward Tenko. It would have been quite difficult to do in total darkness, but our culprit had a guide. They used the lines of the magic circle drawn with salt. The culprit felt for the salt and used it to guide them along. And when the culprit reached the center of the circle, they found the floorboard that had its crosspiece cut off the night before. Then lifted up their foot and stomped down hard on the floorboard. The floorboard lifted up like a seesaw and pushed Tenko's body up toward the ceiling of the cage. Tenko was stabbed in the back of the neck by the sickle on the top of the cage. She was killed right before our eyes, and we didn't even see it. After committing the crime, the culprit followed the salt back to their corner. Finished the ritual and had us light the candles. We followed the culprit's directions and removed the equipment used for the seance. And discovered Tenko's body. And while we were all focused on the body, the culprit picked up the sickle and dropped it under the floor through the hole in the corner of the room. Ironically, the final step of the murder was unwittingly carried out by us. The culprit had planned the murder so that we would unintentionally destroy some evidence. That evidence was the magic circle that the culprit used to navigate in the dark. However, the culprit didn't know that Kibo had taken a picture. He really saved us. Without that, we wouldn't know what changes were made to the circle. But now we know for certain, and we know the culprit drew the magic circle. Korekio Shinguchi, the ultimate anthropologist. You're the culprit behind these murders. That's where my detective work leads us. It all fits.
Sweet Korekio, there are times when it's necessary to admit defeat. Admit? Yeah. Okay.
What?
So you finally admit you did it.
Unfortunately, yes. Yes. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. My one regret, my only regret, was not being able to make 100 friends.
What?
100 friends?
It was my dream to make 100 friends. Oh, it's so unfortunate! I was so close to 100!
What?
What are you talking about? I do not understand a word of this.
Me either.
Who gives a fuck? Let's vote for this kooky bastard and be done with this already!
Roger that! One voting time! Coming up!
The heart racing excitement as
The heart racing excitement!
As the blackened and the spotless finally face off.
It's voting time!
One of them isn't included in the portrait. Okay, well, this is an easy one. Yep. I press... Oh, it's X for this, not triangle like it is with everything else. What?
Now then, it seems the voting has finished. Let's see the result.
It said an error. It said an error occurred, or was that just my mind playing tricks on me? So I guess he voted for himself.
Who'll be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Well, the second half was considerably easier than the first. Thankfully. Aside from that, debate scrum. I got an A. I'll take it. Really, that counted as an A for all of those? Why did I get a B on the... Was it because I took too much time? Okay, sorry. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today then. Next time, the aftermath. Bye.
Danganronpa.